need a high-end designer or a lot of money to get a luxe look. Be your own interior designer.
This is Affordable Interior Design, the podcast.
Here's your host, Betsy Helmuth.
Lisa, it is so good to be back again with you this week. Guys, if you missed last week's episode, you're going to want to go back before you listen to this one because Lisa and I had an amazing discussion. I had an aha breakthrough moment. I'm totally transforming the front of my house, and you'll hear why if you listen to last week's episode. But we're going to continue our conversation about intentional living through Feng Shui, through mindful observation. So Lisa, thanks for coming back. I know you're busy with your own show, Feng Shui Living, but thanks for talking on our show a little bit.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be back.
Now, when we left off, we were talking about Feng Shui for summer, how we can live more intentionally during these frenetic, hot, lazy. I mean, it's such a conundrum, right? Because I'm busier than ever, but the weather's making me want to slow down and the mentality is making me want to slow down, right? We should be at the beach. We should be but all these shoulds and all these summer camps are actually piling up and making me feel more stressed. So how can my home serve me during this time? How can I live more mindfully? No pressure, Lisa, but solve my problems.
Oh my gosh. No problem. Well, here's what I find. When we're so busy and we're going a million miles an hour, you know, when you're driving the car and you're going 60 and you slam on the brakes, it doesn't feel good, right? During these high energy times of the year, you know, in late summer, it's connected to the fire element in Feng Shui, right? It's very high energy. And sometimes if you slam on the brakes and you have that end of the day where you flop on the sofa because you're exhausted, it doesn't feel good. It's not good relaxation, right? So it's important to find that middle ground. I'm a big believer in slowing your body down. You can't go from listening crazy dance music to listening to classical music. It just isn't going to feel right. You can't go from dancing crazy party music to, you know, swaying around to yoga music, right? You need to find that stair stepping down action. So a great way to do this in your space, because it's summer and there's so much fire element naturally happening in our lives. Oftentimes people think, well, water would be cooling, water element, you know, is what you need, but we need a middle of the ground area, which would be the earth element. That's connecting to the earth, surrounding ourselves with the colors of beiges, tans, browns, those cream kind of colors, like if you were to dig down into the earth. And also natural materials, you know, like pottery, rocks and crystals, you know, any, you know, a brick, being around those like natural materials really help our body slow down without hitting the brakes.
That's
that flopping on the sofa type feeling.
Yes. And I am a sofa flopper for sure. I put the last baby to bed and I just flop on the sofa and watch a show. And it's more like survival rather than invigoration, rather than rejuvenation, right? And it doesn't feel good. It feels like a necessity, like I've gotten my battery down to 0 and now I just have to recharge this way versus choosing to recharge. So I could totally see that transition as being important. And I think this fire, you know, it's so hot. I'm like, why am I not in the pool? Why am I not at the beach? I get it. Maybe I just need a moment like in the grass, right? Just sitting there on a blanket, reading a book, and then thinking, that's quite interesting.
Because if you can do that, then you'll enjoy the beach so much more. You won't be, your mind won't be racing and thinking about that. You know, you can surround yourself with nature, surround yourself with those beige, tans, browns in your space, in your room. I'm also a big believer in wearing those colors. So you might choose to put on a blouse that is a chocolate brown color today if you're trying to cool down, to prepare for your weekend, right?
That's interesting, especially because when we think of those designs in the Hamptons, right? When we think about the magazines of the high-end beach homes, a lot of them are in these sandy type colors. A lot of them are pretty devoid of color. Now, I'm a huge color fan, but I could see how maybe the majority of the palette could be these grounded hues and then introducing a few blues, right? Or the sea glass greens or something like that. Interesting. Well, what's
Yeah.
another tip that you might have for us?
Well, we talked about a few things in the last episode, using the front door, being intentional, sweeping the floor. There's so many things. Do it with intention. But here's something else I want you to really focus on and do with intention. And it can be huge, right? It's these little things that make a big impact.
Mm.
And that is removing one thing from your home. Super intentional. I want you to slow down. I want you to get grounded. I want you to think, what is that one thing? Clutter is a lot. Clutter can be overwhelming. It brings depression, anxiety, stress, just not so great feelings. And sometimes we think we have to clear clutter out of our entire home. But
Well, that's
that's
what
not
was
what I
just
want.
coming up for me, by the way.
I know.
So,
That's
Lisa,
not what
as
I
you
want
said
you to
that,
do.
my chest tightens. I think my
I
pulse is
know.
racing, and I'm like, okay, one thing. Oh no, I have 600 things. Okay, so 600 things. How do I get them out? Like the one thing is just totally lost in this overwhelm. Why
Okay.
one
Well,
thing, and what type of thing?
because, sometimes it's the one thing that's really important. All those little things, those old CDs you have, and yeah, they're that's clutter or of old VHS. I don't know. Sometimes you see some funny things, right? I just helped a client clean VHS out of her closet.
Luckily, I don't have any VHS, but I
Yeah.
do have the
Well,
CDs in that 90s, whatever that was, the
the
leather,
case,
the
right? The
leatherette
case that we kept
case.
in our car.
Yeah. And then we'd bring it inside. Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. I know.
Okay.
But sometimes that isn't what's keeping you stuck. Sometimes
Mm,
it's one really intentional thing.
mm,
Is there one thing standing in your way from, growing some aspect of your business? Or for listeners, is what's standing in the way of them finding the love of their life, of them getting that dream job they want, of them, finding those health goals? What is that one thing? And if you could slow down, really sit. I love to journal. I'm a big fan of journaling. So
mm,
just free write. What could that one thing be? And as you write, it might just appear on the page.
mm. Yeah. Because several things came up for me, like as I reduced those minor things you were talking about, as I
Mhm.
let go of the CDs and was thinking more big picture, what's actually impacting me via my space. A couple things did come up. And I think journaling could kind of show which one's the priority, right? Okay, so
Sure,
these three
sure.
things came up for me. It's the shoe cabinet that's driving me crazy. It's obviously not working. It sets the tone when we walk in.
Okay.
It's this, it's that. Now, if I journal, I can see which one's having the greatest impact,
Hmm.
or I could
Yeah, because
prioritize.
it's amazing when you go to journal, you put pen to paper. And I know it's easy to type on your phone. I know it's easy to type on your computer, but really grab a piece of paper, grab a pen that feels really good in your hand and just write. Because when we can take what's in our head and put it on paper, it can totally transform and just be mind blowing. You might have a page that you had no idea was ever going to come out. A whole page of written answers of that one thing and why.
Yes. Well, I could
Mhm.
not be a bigger promoter of this journal idea. I've been keeping a journal since I was 7. And I have
Wow.
every journal. Speaking of clutter, I have them all.
Oh, what a
And
beautiful collection.
it's something. It's something. And I have my favorite pens, and I just ordered a new 16 pack. If you have not tried the PinTech Intergel pens, they come in like 36 different colors, and I
Nice.
order 16 at a time on Amazon, and I choose kind of my palette for that, and then I just burn them out. I burn them out.
I love that.
Yeah, I wait till the last bit of ink is in the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
So I'm a big fan, and it is surprising what comes up, and it is surprising how it just kind of purges things. So
Mhm.
I don't even go back. I've never gone back and read my diaries until I was writing my memoir. It was the first time I've ever cracked one open.
Wow.
But that stuff just gets processed. It's so interesting. Even though I've
Mhm.
never reread it, it's definitely been worked through, or I could see I was going through something and I could see this arc. So I do think there's such power in
Mhm.
keeping that, even if you never look back. because I do think it's hard. It's like listening to
Sure.
yourself after you record a podcast. It can be a little cringe.
It
There
is.
we go. But this is fascinating. And so do you have any other tips for us? Anything that's coming to mind regarding the summer months?
Well, I'd love to share with you my favorite overall tip.
Mm,
And that is to love on the centermost area of your home. Okay. So in Feng Shui, we use what's called a Bagua map, and it's an kind of like the chakra system, right? We have these energy centers of our body, and our home also has these specific energy centers. One connects to wealth and abundance if you're looking to bring more money into your life, right? If you're looking to find that perfect partner or develop more self-love or love for your partner, we can connect with that, right? There's all these different areas. But the centermost area of that Bagua map will always land in the centermost area of your home. And the cool thing is that gua connects to all the other guas. So if you improve that one area, you're essentially, then improving every area of your home. So I get clients that are like, oh my gosh, it's a closet. What do I do? Right? If it isn't a beautiful room, don't stress. That's okay. I actually had years ago, we lived in a home and it was a stairwell on one side and a pantry on the back. So what
yeah.
do you do? Well, my husband actually had a habit of piling things on the stairwell. Things to go up or things to come down. So I'm like, okay, we're not going to do that because that is not helping us. That's clutter on the stairwell. It's just bad chi, right? Bad chi movement up the stairs. Okay. So keep your stairwell tidy, right? Make sure it's well lit. Make sure it's clean and vacuumed. And the pantry, I always kept it very organized and tidy. Also, everything showing abundance. So if the Cheerios box got, down to the bottom where there's just like half a cup, we'd dump it in a bowl and snack on it and toss it and refresh with a fresh, full box, right? We want to show abundance and keep it organized and tidy. If this is, say, a great room, a living room or something, bring in a beautiful bouquet of flowers. Like really, really love on your home. Bring in a bouquet of flowers for your home. Maybe bring in a new house plant. That's lovely. Remember to go for soft, rounded leaves when looking for plants.
What does soft mean? Soft colors?
Soft, just like delicate feeling. Think of like a fern. Like when you touch a fern, it's soft and delicate. It's not pointy or sharp. We always want to stay away from cacti.
Oh.
Cacti. Okay. Lesson number.
No. Somebody brought me a cactus and I put it in the guest room bathroom.
Okay.
That's maybe not so welcoming, come to think of it.
Well, I would assume that if you do have guests, they're probably just not feeling very relaxed.
Yeah, I'll move it. Because I don't want to like get rid of it. Yeah. But I also don't want it in a place where my kids will touch it. So guest room, bathroom felt right.
Sure. So yeah.
But I have this rubber plant because I need plants you can't kill. And ferns can be very temperamental. So I just bought multiple of these rubber plants because you really can't kill them. And they grow to all sorts of different heights. And they're just,
love that.
Yeah. Not soft, but rounded.
Soft, rounded leaves, a jade. If you think of a jade plant, there's a saying, jade by the door, pour no more. So if you're looking to bring more abundance in, place a jade right by your front door. But if you look at the leaves, they look kind of like little coins, right? They're little round, coin-looking shapes. A peace lily. One of my favorite plants is a peace lily. It's so beautiful. Just fills your home with that peaceful energy. And I just love plants. You can't have enough, but instead of focusing on, I have a lot of clients I'll run into, they have a plant room where they have 25 plants. When COVID and all that happened, everybody became plant lovers, right?
Right. We can't go outside, so we might as well make everything happen inside. Yeah.
I mean, no wonder we were craving being outdoors, right? But instead of having 25 plants in one room, to minimize it down, I really always suggest no more than 3 per room. But spread them throughout, right? Move them around. Add one to your kids' room. Put one in the bathroom. A wood element pairs beautifully with a water element, that the bathrooms have so much water in them, right? So they help the bathroom feel better and more balanced. So I love plants throughout.
And now it's time for a quick commercial break.
I guess we started with the center of the home. So that
Yeah.
loving on the center of your home. And it kind of grew from there. But yeah, that's just my favorite tip. It's just that one area. If you can love on it, then
I have a
you're
question.
yeah,
What if
sure.
you have multiple floors? So I have the center
Okay.
downstairs, right? And I
Okay.
can easily picture it. And it's a mess because it's the middle. So it's the convergence of lots of rooms. And we have a central staircase. So there's a lot going on. But I could see how
Okay.
I could love on it. And I could see how it is even more important. It's kind of like, if we're on the plant analogy, the main stalk of the plant and all the rooms offshoots. So I could see where that energy would be vital. But what do we do on that second floor in the middle? Is it something we need to worry about? Do I have to worry about everything?
I mean, I always suggest focus on your main floor, right?
Okay,
Your
okay.
main floor represents your day to day.
Mm,
Okay. Your lower levels, like a basement, kind of represents the subconscious. So don't neglect the basement. Just be aware of maybe if an area you have excess storage, right? Just kind of be aware,
yeah.
right? And then any upper floors represent, like dreams, goals, just loftier ideas. That's all the upstairs. But it all connects, right? So if you care for that centermost area of your main floor, take it up. Why not? Right?
Right.
Take it
Couldn't
up and
hurt to
love on
love
that
your whole
area as
house.
well.
Yes.
Yes. Start in the center and move out. And, you know, that's just a great way to start. If you don't want to dive in, I work with clients that have a specific goal. Hey, I'm starting my business. I'm growing here. This is what I need to do. And we'll set up steps and find that wall that connects to that area. Right. But there's so many things you can do just to generally lift the energy of your home. So you just feel better when you walk in, your shoulders drop. You can take that big breath and you just feel good to be home.
Yeah. And being more intentional and stepping back a little bit, I can clearly make a list of things that are blocking me in each room or things that just annoy me. And
Mhm.
maybe that need resolution or deeper thinking, or maybe just moving to another room. So I really love being more intentional about it because
Mhm.
my philosophy is always let's get it designed and then we can set it and forget it. Right. I design a room. I've designed my family room. I absolutely love it. The result is perfect. I don't want to think about it anymore. But we keep using the room differently. And the room keeps getting things or we keep moving things. And then I stop thinking about it, but the energy has shifted for me.
Sure.
But I'm like, I've said it and forget it. So let's just not worry about it. But I could easily see where it needs to be reevaluated or when my energy has changed,
Mhm.
not to necessarily blame my lifestyle or the kids who keep leaving their socks, but to instead be like, maybe there's something about the room that does need to change energetically, if not functionally. The room is
Sure.
functional, but
Sure.
energetically something has shifted for me.
Yeah. I mean, we change, right? We have
Mm,
different goals, different, interests, our lifestyle changes. And so I always suggest something I do is I check in with my home at the beginning of each season. Start at the front door, maybe take a little pad of paper and just do a walkthrough. It doesn't mean you have to do everything now. Just notice those one or two things. And you have to do this with fresh eyes because it's I mean, I'm sure you go into someone's home and you're like, "Oh, look at the carpet. That's a great piece of art on the wall," right? But we
mhm.
don't do that to our own homes. We're just so it's like blinders on, right? So, I always suggest go outside, go on a walk. Go get grounded, take in some big breaths of fresh air, just regroup and enter through your front door and then walk throughout your space. And
Mm.
see what kind of is flashing at you of, hey, this is something to deal with, right? It's just a way to do a little inventory of your home. And you have to do it all tomorrow? No. Do it over time, be intentional. Again, every little adjustment you do to your home, the more intention and care you infuse into it. I'm wiping down my counters and I make sure to turn on, a happy song and I'm in a good mood. And, I might recite a mantra as I'm like swiping down my counters. So just do it all with really good intention. And if you do have that day where you're like, I'm going to clear clutter today out of my house and take that, those bags to the donation bin, but you wake up, you had a rough night, you're in a foul mood, don't do it. Right? Put it off until your body feels ready to take this on.
Well, this has been so inspiring. If we're totally bought in, which I am, I'm bought in. I'm going to reevaluate my home. I'm going to pretend I'm going to walk outside, right? Do the thing, clear my mind, and then walk in my front door pretending I'm Lisa Morton. What would Lisa say? What would
Oh my.
Lisa feel energetically? Okay, I'm going to sweep. So tell us where we can find you, where we can learn more. It's
Sure,
fascinating.
sure. Yeah. So you can find me on social media at Pure Living with Lisa Morton. I have my podcast called Feng Shui Living Tips for Busy Women. And then I also have a school, Elevated Living School of Holistic Design and Feng Shui. And I'm hosting a fall certification course. I'm so excited. September and October. If you want to become certified in instinctive feng shui, this is your opportunity. It's a life-changing experience. It truly transformed my life. And so I'm excited to share this with others. So
Well, thank you so much for all the tips we've gotten here. I mean, I'm going to go over and subscribe, and I want to learn so much more because I think interior design and feng shui really need to be considered together. A lot of my design clients are like, "Oh, Betsy, I don't care about feng shui. I don't even know what that is. Just, make this space magazine ready." But as
mhm,
you learned, if you listen to our first episode, as you learned, magazine ready does not necessarily serve you.
exactly.
And
Bingo.
yeah, so that outcome may not be the perfect result for all aspects of your life. While you may
Mhm,
feel really proud to show it off, there may be
mhm.
other feelings that are coming up that need to be addressed.
Sure, sure. And it can be beautiful. We just tweak a little thing here or there or implement something, right? A pattern, a texture, a color. It doesn't mean a full remodel of your home, of your beautiful space that you've already created.
Right, right. A few touches or tweaks, a few less plants or more plants, and you could be good to go. Well, Lisa, thank you so much. I'm sure we'll have future conversations, but this is really setting us up to enjoy the rest of our summer, and I appreciate your tips.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone. Till next time. A big thank you to our amazing producer, Catherine Heller, to Aton and the MVCR House Band, and to Affordable Interior Design, the sponsor of this podcast and the premier place to get an amazing look on a budget. Check out affordableinteriordesign.com. If you guys love the show, the very best way to support us is by spreading the word. Tell your friends or write us an awesome review on iTunes. So until next week, guys, thanks so much for joining us, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.